Hello, my name is Kamille Richardson, and I'm the founder and CEO of iSee Technologies.
And I'm Lakila Bowden, the co-founder and COO of iSee Technologies. iSee Technologies is a people development firm that works with corporate and government entities to activate the hearts, minds, and future attitudes of their teams, making their organizations more profitable, more cohesive, and their employees more wildly motivated to show up and perform at their best.
My early career search was colored by a lot of rejection. A lot of times the hiring managers weren't even trying to hide the fact that they weren't willing to hire somebody who was blind. I would apply for a position and I'd get the call or the email that said that they were very interested and they would love to have me in for an interview. And I would show up ready to rock that interview out. And all of a sudden when I came in and they saw me and they saw that white cane in my hand, that temperature would drop about 20 degrees. And all of a sudden, the warm greetings that I was receiving, it turned into those cold conversations that would a lot of times end with the whole "don't call us, we'll call you" spiel. And a lot of times those calls and those emails, well, they would never come. And it began to take a toll on my confidence and my self-esteem. And one day, after just going through months of that long, exhausting job hunt process, I decided that I had enough. And I turned those no's that the hiring managers were giving me into a yes for myself. And I decided to hire myself. And iSee Technologies was born. I created iSee Technologies because I wanted to create a solution instead of always talking about what the problem is. So now I show up to organizations and I teach them how to create those more inclusive and equitable environments so that everyone can thrive on a team. So that is my journey.
As a COO of iSee Technologies, it was important to me to center this work around self-care and prioritizing self-care for women. I've seen that what it's like when we exercise our superpower, the superpower of prioritizing ourselves in a society that hierarchically has said that everyone else and everything else should come before a woman's needs. And that has us leading all of the chronic disease states that leads to the stress and the burnout that's occurring at rates of 1.5 times that greater than men and our male counterparts and colleagues. So I knew that it was important that we center and prioritize self-care because that's the superpower that lifts those invisible loads that we carry that allow us to show up as the best versions of ourselves, the most creative versions of ourselves, the most rested versions of ourselves.
So I talk about the magic of being differently disabled because I love showing the power that the disabled community brings and the value that we bring. And the way I convey this in my talks is through stories because I am a storyteller. So I love to share bits of my journey and also the journeys of other people with disabilities. And those stories help to show the value that the disabled community brings, not only in the workforce, but also in the communities where we live. And it also highlights the importance of creating a more inclusive society.
When I'm speaking, I'm giving people the real, right? I'm giving them a glimpse into what I know works, the self-care cheat codes. And I know that the best way for us to learn is to be enjoying ourselves. So I'm bringing the humor, I'm sharing personal anecdotes from clients, stories of things that I know work. That's what I'm including in my talks. And the reactions from the audience always give me the feedback that I need that lets it know that this message is landing, because it doesn't do us any good to get jargon. We don't need more of that. We need actionable solutions that work. And any session with me is going to be a good time. I created the types of trainings that I wish that I had had over the course of my over 15-year career in corporate. The things that land, the things that resonate with the audience.
As someone who was born blind, the main challenge that I faced is the mindset and the perceptions of others about what disability is. They think that it's something to be looked at from a lens of pity or from a lens of charity, or, oh, those poor little blind people, those poor little disabled people. So the way I turn that into my strength is going and doing these talks on all kinds of stages, sharing my story, sharing the stories of others, and showing people, building that awareness and saying that, hey, we live full, rich, empowered lives. We are business owners. We are productive members in our community. So by me using this voice, which is my superpower, I'm able to show others and change those mindsets, change those attitudes and the perceptions. So that's how I turned that challenge into a strength.
The reactions that I get from the audience when I'm on stage keynoting or sharing the self-care cheat codes is varied. There's laughter, there are light bulbs going off, there are tears a lot of times as people realize that the only permission that they need to prioritize themselves comes from within. Our power is within our own permission. And I love to see that. It's their genuine reactions, the smiles, the high fives, people are dancing. It's just always a good time.
So I started out, again, working with people who have recently lost their sight. I mean, I work with a lot of blind people, but that was a lot of times the clients that I would receive. And the goal of learning assistive technology was so that people could reconnect with the world around them and also gain their independence. And part of that was becoming gainfully employed. And through my work as an assistive technology instructor, the gainful employment piece was oftentimes the toughest barrier that my clients faced. And again, I knew what that was like because of that early career search I spoke about. So when I'm doing this work and when I'm up here speaking on different stages, I talk about having the courage to bring up disability inclusion hiring in managers' meetings, and also discuss how to make your products and features more accessible so that you can be more inclusive as a corporation or a government agency.
Through our work with some of the largest companies in the world, like Kraft Heinz, like Walt Disney Company, we've had an opportunity to work with their high achieving, high potential women and start with a foundation of establishing that self-care is paramount in their rise within the company. And it's inspiring to me to see some of these organizations really commit and invest in their women leaders, women who are able to prioritize themselves, to prioritize their self-care, really excel in confidence, excel in compensation, excel in how they show up. And I think that it's awesome that these organizations recognize that and that they're bringing in our company to help support them in that mission of accelerating the trajectory of women leaders. Being in business as sisters and family is at the forefront of what we do. It's something that we lead with. It's been a point of attraction for the clients that want to work with us. Legacy building, generational wealth, all of those things are important to both of us. And it matters in the platforms that we speak on, the trainings that we center around, whether it be disability inclusion or women empowering themselves through self-care. A lot of that is rooted in financial stability, right? And as we can do that as a family and demonstrate that it can be done together, cohesively, collaboratively as a unit, I think that it speaks even more to the work that we do and the importance of financial upward mobility in both those groups, both the disabled community as well as within the community of women leaders and high achievers.
As working together as sisters and being business owners together for me has been just a full circle moment. My sister has always been fierce about inclusion. It has always been one of my biggest champions ever since we were children. So it's serendipitous and all the other great words when I think about the two of us coming together and building this company from the foundation up and being able to leave a legacy for our family and creating this generational wealth. I mean, she has a son who is my favorite nephew in the world, my favorite fellow Wella, and being able to build something that is going to be his legacy as well. It's just heartwarming for me, and it's something that is a first in our family as well. So this is really just a milestone moment for us.
And we're having a lot of fun doing it also.
Yes, exactly. You can find me on Instagram at Kamille Aaliyah, on TikTok at the Kamille Richardson, and on LinkedIn at Kamille Richardson. And if you want to book me, you can go to CamilleRichardson.com.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Lakila J. You can find me on LinkedIn at Lakila Bowden. And you can book me at LakilaBowden.com.